Welcome to the Ask Jordan podcast, answering your questions about selling on Amazon. Now, he's flipped more toys than a stadium full of toddlers. From Long Island, New York, here's your host, Jordan Malik.
Hello, Amazon sellers. My name is Jordan Malik. This is the Ask Jordan podcast 94th episode. I'm back. Heard you missed me. Thanks for making me part of your day. Many of you have inquired, Jordan, where you've been. I'm recording this early August of 2015. My last episode was June 8th of 2015. Many of you asked where I was, so I apologize for that. I was in Las Vegas for a planned trip. I was there for about a month and a half. Why Las Vegas? My wife and I were planning on moving out there a few years because my in-laws bought their retirement home there, and my brother-in-law lives out there now. He used to live here in Long Island, New York, near us. And we had planned to move out there eventually when my in-laws retire, which is a couple of years from now. And we've kind of accelerated all that for reasons I can't disclose now, but it really comes down to like a safety issue here where we are. We need to get out of the region, the immediate neighborhood where we are now. And I can't disclose why, but it has nothing to do with us doing anything illegal. It has to do with some threatening bodies around us. So I'll explain more in I don't know when it's going to be, but we have it kind of the incentive now to move. It's a better climate for our dogs. We have two small dogs who have some joint problems and respiratory problems, so that is a plus. And to pack up and move locally, Long Island, New York, where we are, is one or the highest cost of living in the nation. So it only makes a little bit of economic sense. And the question is just a matter of time. So meaning when is it going to happen? And it's hopefully going to happen sooner or later. But we were out there for a month and a half testing out, living out there when it went pretty well. And we deliberately did part work. We were out there, growing, doing stuff for our Amazon business, sourcing products, etc., and part recreation, taking in all the sights and sounds of Las Vegas and the surrounding area. And we did it by car. We drove out there and drove back. One of our dogs is too, I don't want to say sickly, like terminal sick, but our vet has recommended we do not fly with her unless we absolutely have to. So the trip we did by car, which was very grueling for 6 days one way, as you can imagine. So people ask, hey, why Las Vegas? Why move there? And of course, part of it is the family reasons I said. And the other part is, is it the best place to live in the country? I don't know, but it's, there's a lot to do. Even if you don't gamble, people think they associate Las Vegas with gambling. And of course, it's a huge money producer for Las Vegas, but there's a lot to see and do around Las Vegas and in Las Vegas. And they have a lot of nice communities in the area where people move from all over: New York, North Carolina, California. People end up moving to Las Vegas because the property prices tend to be a lot more reasonable. You get a lot more for your money. And the climate year round is a little more conducive to comfort. And, it's a major city now where there's a lot of entertainment and attractions. The only thing is the school systems there, public school systems, I heard, are borderline terrible. So that's always a question mark for families, and they end up getting private schooling for their children. So that's where I've been. I appreciate your patience. I have not disappeared. I was going to say where I was, but I always get paranoid because people can figure out very easily where I live in Long Island, New York. And I didn't want to give all of you, 99.9% of you are good, honest citizens. There's probably a fraction of 1% of you that may have some unscrupulous ideas of what to do if my house is vacant. So I didn't want to announce where I was. So maybe I'll do a better job of just saying, hey, I'm taking a break from podcasting for 2 months or whatever. I was hoping to do more podcasts when I was down there, but we had so many things going on in Las Vegas, I couldn't. Anyway, I hope you're doing well. We haven't talked in a while. So I hope you and your family are doing well. I hope you're not faced with any tragedies. I hope your Amazon business is going great. And if you're listening for the first time, welcome. This is the podcast where we only answer your questions about selling on Amazon. Every episode, we answer a different question from you, the listener, about selling on Amazon. If you miss an episode, that's okay. Go to askjordan.net. askjordan.net, and there's a link to our archives as well on that same page. Some of you might have called in a question. I'm just getting around to ones that are 3 or 4 months old now. So some of you may have called in a question, never heard back from me. Please don't despair. Send me an email if you think I've blown you off. Of course, first check all the episodes at askjordan.net and then click on the link to the archives to see the previous episodes. Your question may already be answered, but If you send in a question and you think I'm bloating you off, I haven't answered it, send me an email. Go to jordanmalik.com/email. If that doesn't work or that hasn't worked for you, email me, jordanmalik@gmail.com. That's my direct personal email. I answer that myself. Hey, if you want to hear your voice on an episode and get 7 of my best-selling ebooks 100% free, I'm going to tell you how to do that after we answer today's question. Today's question is from Ryan from Ohio. Go ahead, Ryan.
Hi, Jordan. This is Ryan from Ohio. Thanks a lot for creating the show and for all the great info. I've been selling on Amazon for about 2.5 months now, and I'm just starting to see some profits. So thanks again for all the great info and everything you do. So my question is, in my first couple of sourcing trips, I wasn't aware of all the fees and how all those work on FBA. So I made a couple of not so great decisions and bought some stuff that's really not going to make me any money now if it sells. Given that, I'm thinking of creating a removal order for them, and I was just wondering if you could kind of dive into the fees involved with that, and if that's something I should wait to do until I have a bunch of items I want removed, and also kind of explain if it's better to have them destroyed or shipped back. Just kind of help me out on this. Okay, thanks a lot.
Hey, Ryan, first, thank you for the compliments. Very much so. I do appreciate it. I'm glad that you like the show. I apologize that this is for several months after you submitted this question. Getting rid of inventory. So many of you are going to discover, especially those that are doing things like retail arbitrage, buying locally or online or buying from thrift stores or yard sales. Those of you that are always buying like a mix of products, you're going to find items that are just going to be sales duds that aren't moving in your inventory at Amazon. Amazon charges you a regular monthly storage fee per square foot. So they take all the merchandise that you have and they add it up, automatically. The dimensions of each product. When you hold that physical product in your hands before you send it into Amazon, that has certain dimensions, right? A Pez dispenser is 6 inch by 1 inch by 1/4 inch or whatever. I don't know. I'm making that up. Halloween air-blown lawn ornament comes in a box, and that box is probably measured 12 inches by 12 inches by 12 inches, right? So Amazon charges you a monthly fee ranging from 40 to 70 cents for every month that cubic foot worth of products is in stock. So the smaller items that you have, the better, right? If you have, I don't know how many Pez dispensers would take up 1 cubic foot. I'm guessing maybe 40. So that 1 cubic foot charge, which is somewhere between 40 and 70 cents per month, is distributed in your cost. It's distributed among the 40 Pez dispensers, right? If you have a lot of large objects, it's going to be a little bit higher. It's going to be 70 cents per square foot, upwards of 70 cents per square foot. Ryan, the thing to look out for is Amazon's long-term storage fees, which go up by a huge amount. They go up to $11 per cubic foot. The long-term storage fees, if your unit has been in the Amazon FBA warehouses from 6 to 12 months, your long-term storage fee goes up to $11.25 per cubic foot. If it's been there for 365 days or longer, it goes up to $22.50 per cubic foot. And Amazon is doing this because storage costs money, A, and B, it gives an incentive for the sellers to clear out their inventory, either by removal or disposal, which I'll get into in a minute, or by reducing the prices and selling it. So these fees do not apply if you've only got 1 unit of something. So let's say if you have one, Halloween Peanuts Snoopy air-blown yard decoration that's in a 1 cubic foot box, for instance. If you only got quantity 1, they don't charge you any long-term storage fees for that first unit. If you got multiples, they're going to charge you for 2 through 6, right? So you got 6 of them sitting there for 6 months or longer, then they start charging you for that. So your goal as a seller is to be monitoring this stuff before the long-term storage fees activate. And that is in August 15th and February 15th of every year, Amazon charges long-term storage fees for the designated units beyond quantity 1 that you have that have been sitting there for 6 months or longer. Ryan, I'm going to have all the links you need to both understand how long-term storage fees work and to run reports on what is going to be affected for you in terms of, in other words, what are you going to get dinged on in terms of long-term storage fees. You can pull up a report on Amazon. I'm going to give you all the links to that. So my suggestion for you is that at least 1 month, preferably 2 months or 3 months before every long-term storage fee is implemented. That's on August 15th and February 15th of every year. Start reducing the price of your items dramatically. So, 5-10% every week the items that you still have sitting there that are going to be affected by these long-term storage fees, start reducing your prices. If that doesn't work, you need to start thinking as like 4 weeks away from August 15th or February 15th, 4 weeks before that, start having those items either removed, meaning removed and shipped back to you. Amazon charges for most items, unless it's oversized, they'll charge 50 cents per unit to remove and dispose of the item. 50 cents per unit to remove the item and ship it back to you. There's no additional charge for shipping. It's 50 cents per unit to ship it back to you. Or to dispose it is 15 cents. 15 cents is for them to dispose of it. And there's going to be it's going to be slightly higher for oversized items. Again, I'm going to give you all the links to that in the show notes for this episode. When you go to askjordan.net and look for episode 94, I'll have all the links there that you need to know. So oversized unit is a unit that's, the specifications are going to be there. So if you have an oversized unit, I think it's greater than 19 inches on the longest side and over 20 pounds. And they give you all that information on there. So the removal fees are 50 cents to return or 15 cents for them to dispose of it for you. Ryan, I'll be honest with you, I dispose a lot. Now, in terms of percentage of everything that I sell, I'm sure it's probably 2-3%. I don't know. But I have a mix of all different types of inventory that I've sent into Amazon from way back or recently, even very recently, of stuff that I thought would sell right away that didn't sell right away. And it's got, an abysmal sales rank. If you need help with sales rank, go to jordanmalik.com/SR. That's my sales rank cheat sheet for when you're buying stuff. But sales rank may have plummeted on something. And it's inventory that no matter how much I lower it, it's still not selling. And I have to get rid of it. So I have situations where I have had to remove, especially now since August 15th. You're probably getting this a few days before August 15th. But with August 15th coming up, I've had quantity 15, 20, 25 of an item that I spent $2-3 per unit on that I know I'm not going to sell anywhere else. It's no use for me having it shipped back to me. And many sellers have a hard time letting go of something. They say, well, maybe I could sell this on eBay, and they'll go through the rigmarole and pay 50 cents per unit of having, and it's actually very easy to submit the return or disposal request on Amazon for the items, but they will go through that process and they'll have the boxes shipped back to them. And what are you going to do with 30 Kermit the Frog shoelaces? You know what I mean? There's probably no other place you can sell it. Now, some people have a grand old time at flea markets. They get all the stuff that they can't sell on Amazon or eBay. They bring it to a local flea market, set up a table, and they claim to do well. I don't have the time or the bandwidth for that. So I've actually disposed of items in quantities that did not sell. You have to shed, retail stores do this, regular physical retail stores have to shed their inventory all the time and have to dispose of it. So what you're disposing of may seem like a lot, but compared to the scheme of things, it's extremely low risk to you. Disposal is typically the way that I go. If I have an item that is highly valuable and I think, oh, gee, I'm probably going to hang on to this, I'll have them return it to me at 50 cents per unit, right? If I've sent in some things that were kind of pricey and I say, oh, maybe I can give these away as gifts for Christmas, I'll have them return it to me. Okay. So Ryan, all the information you need to know to understand how long-term fees work and how to return stuff. The short of it is if you got stuff that's been sitting there for 6 months or longer, you need to really consider in advance of that 6-month mark, either lowering the price or having Amazon dispose of it or having it returned to you. The interesting thing is with this is that this is where a lot of sellers, one of the many things where Amazon, people who start selling on Amazon throw their hands and give up. And Ryan, I'm not referring to you. I'm just saying is that I like it when Amazon does these things because this forces people to take this business seriously. And you have stale inventory. Amazon's not going to pay for it out of their own pocket to keep it there. You have to stay on top of all your metrics, whether it's your seller performance or your profits or your cost of goods or your long-term storage fees at Amazon. You have to stay on top of these things. And the reason why I like it when Amazon does that is because the people that my competition, seller competition, it's only probably a very small percentage, but it still counts. They'll throw up their hands and give up and they'll just leave Amazon entirely. Well, I'm not paying these long-term storage fees ever again. And they quit. So that's why I like it. It's only fair for Amazon. It's only fair for the other sellers. And it's only fair for you if you want to run a good, clean business to stay on top of these metrics like long-term storage fees. So Ryan, thank you so much for submitting that question. Ryan gets all 7 of my ebooks about selling on Amazon and eBay. Ryan, just go over to askjordan.net, click on the small envelope icon in the upper right-hand corner, the page near the upper right-hand corner. Send me an email so I know where to send your ebooks to. And if you, the listener, want to submit a question to the podcast and have a chance to win all my best-selling ebooks like Ryan, call me at 516-619-ONLINE. That's 516-619-6654. Now, that's an automated answering machine. There's no live person to talk to. You can leave your question there or go to askjordan.net and scroll down, look for the directions of submitting your own question. Hey, thanks for listening. This has been the Ask Jordan Podcast. We'll see you again in our next episode.